Hello everyone, welcome back to Algebra 2 class. Today we are going to continue our conversation about this unit, exponential and logarithmic function. Actually today we are going to cover the very last topic of this unit, which is called exponential regression. So when you first look at this title, it might recall some memory if you learned this linear regression in Algebra 1. So exponential regression is actually similar to linear regression. Is we are going to use the regression. This idea is coming from the when we do some research or in real life situation is when we want to do some research or when we want to use some numbers data to do some prediction, and this process is actually always coming from the first step is we collect data. Once we have data, probably we can use this data to plot some points on the graph. And then we realize actually to connect all the data we can, or even let's do something like that. And then we realize we can use an exponential function to best model, or we say connect all the dots together. Sometimes it's not really perfectly connected because you have to use a function to best model to make sure it's closest to the real data. And this exponential function, once we get this exponential function, we can use this function to predict some even future situation. So this process is called exponential regression. In Algebra 1, if this is linear situation, then you can find a linear function to best model the situation. Because the thing is, in reality, it's not going to be like we have an exponential function is given. You can just use this one to easily to do some prediction. The idea is we have to collect data first, and then we can use data to do some more steps after this. So today we are going to check the example, and we are going to use the example to do some calculation to get exponential function. And you may wonder what kind of calculation we need to do. Actually, this part, we are going to use calculator to finish the calculation, which is why you see our calculator is here, because today's lesson is going to be calculator plays a very, very important role here. Okay, so let's check our example here. So this example says about a year ago, Joey watched an online video of the band and noticed that it had been viewed only 843 times. 1 month later, Joey noticed this views already reached to 1,708 views. So since then, Joey started tracking the numbers of the views for this band, and he made a chart for that to get this data. But apparently, as you can see, second month, Joey forgot to record. So what's going to happen here is we are going to write a regression equation to model this data, and also we are going to run the values based on whatever we mentioned here. However, so this is the data we're going to use, and how do we get started? So from the very step, we are going to use a calculator. So first, make sure your calculator is on. You'll clear the screen. Please pay attention to which key I'm actually using. So the very first, we are going to go find this key called stat, S-T-A-T. It's under the del part. Click this. You will notice this is actually the very first tab is added. We are going to click enter. So the very first step is you are going to give the data, input the data into the calculator. So my left column here is my x. I'll consider this is L1. This is actually a y. Consider L2. Now I'm going to just type the value here. The very first is 0. Just enter. Then 1. Enter. I don't have the data for 2, so I'm going to skip that one. Next one is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, Now I have 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the left, and then I'm going to type the number matching to each line here. So the very first one is 843, and then next one is 1008. Please pay attention to the numbers, and sometimes you type the number wrong, then you have to retype again. 7,000, 124, then 14684, 29, 787, 62381. Now I have all the data for x1 and x2 already finished. Now I input the data into the calculator. Next, we are going to tell the calculator to do some calculation. Okay, so now I need a calculation. So see, the first tab is called edit. Now I'm going to use arrow to move this one to calc. And then next I'm going to look for which one is my exponential regression. So keep moving until you see this called EXPREG, represent exponential regression. So keep moving until you see this, click enter. And this one is going to tell calculator what are the data you're going to enter. You just keep going, L1, L2, until everything, click enter, and then ta-da, this is it. So what does that mean? How do we do this? As you can see, the final answer, it looked like y equals a times b to the x power. So this is exponential regression we are going to use. And then what we need to do is, since a and b are given here, I'm going to put the value into this equation here. And also the answer says round all values to the nearest hundredth. To the nearest hundredth, so each value I'm going to round it as it says. So the first one, A, is 803.647, and 800 is 2 digits of decimal, and after 7 is 0, I'm going to get rid of all them, so this is A, and then times, make a big dot here, so the B is 2.04. After 47, so I'm going to round it up, is 0.5 to the x power. If you think this is kind of, can be mistaken as a decimal point, you can also put this like this way, so they will guarantee this clear written like this. And this is our equation. This is our exponential regression equation, is written like this way. Okay, now we are going to look at so this is actually second question. We are going to use it to do some problems. Since now I have this equation, then I can do some prediction for the future, like after 10 months, how many views will be, or I can even go back to track. For second month, what number is actually for the views? Let's show the table. Joey forgot to record the views of the second month, so use this one to estimate the number of full views of the online video. So now I'm going to use this one to do some to go back to track how many views is actually happening in month 2. But remember, this is a this is like prediction, so not probably exactly the view, but we can definitely have the general idea. Since the second month is x equal to 2, so I'm going to use, so I can just easily to represent this one as 2 part, because x equal to 2, this is after the second month. So I can just, type this one as 8, so I can clear this, and then I can use a 3.6.37 times 2.05 to the second power. This one called x squared here, you can just easily type this, or you use a little arrow too, it's the same thing. And this, so this is a 3,005. Everything is a whole number here, so I can just, keep that as a whole number around this one. So second month around 3,000, and third month is 7,000. So this is actually how do we use calculator to find exponential regression, and we can use this function to do more calculation and prediction. This whole process is called exponential regression. Remember, the most important part is starting with stat. If you do not remember the process here, please definitely rewatch it and check how do we do the calculation. And once you get used to it, you will see it's very, very easy to follow. So that's it. That's all I want to share you today. That's called exponential regression. I hope this video is helpful. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you everyone to study this topic with me. Take care. See you soon.